Hello, everybody. I ate a bunch of gummies. You can already see that my tongue is blue.
Yeah.
I just like
Great.
gummy snacks. I can't help it.
We got to make sure we get some for when we go to GaryCon.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. Oh, God. I didn't send you the announcements. I'm a dork.
Oh.
Hold on. Give me 2 seconds.
I was just realizing that wasn't
I
looking.
have them.
Like,
I just forgot to send them to you.
Spells.
I was like literally looking at them like, oh, shit.
Uh-oh. See if I do that.
It's fine.
Though. Then our faces disappear.
Oh, no.
I'll read it off my phone.
Okay. It's coming over now. You just have to ignore the one about today.
Okay.
Why did it do that? The hell? There.
Don't mind us.
There we go. Professionals.
We're
Total
pro
professionals.
streamers. We totally know what we're doing.
Exactly.
Okay. Welcome back to VäkPäker's Guide to TTRPGs. Our sponsor for tonight is Canadian Dice. Go to canadiandice.ca and use the code TheVäkTer, all one word, at checkout for 15% off your order. Maggie's dice pick of the week is the cool diamond one that she said yesterday.
Something about it reminds her of her mom.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And every time it's Diamond Sky, and every time like I hear Diamond Sky, the only thing I can think of is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, because like that's all I can think about, and I'm just like, why?
We don't want to get copyright pinged for
No, we don't.
the Beatles. Okay.
It would be bad.
Next, be sure to check out our merch store at tinyurl.com/VAKmerch. You can get excellent designs like Half-Orc Energy and the Vac Blob and whatever other designs Affy has percolating. Next,
I think she's working on some new stuff.
Ooh, yeah. We gotta get some weird.
You need like birthday
fresh
merch or something.
Yeah, something like that. We need some.
It's everybody's
something. We need some things from like the games.
We need Alyssa to design something. Is what we need.
Yeah.
She's really good at watercolors, and like that would be really cool.
You heard it. You heard it here first. Okay. So tonight, obviously, we're here now, but tomorrow, Legacy of Fire is at 7:30 p.m. on DM Jeremy's channel. It was rumored that it might be the finale, but now it's kind of like this is actually going to be quite an epic battle. So
yeah, we gotta hype that shit up.
Yeah.
We're either all gonna TPK in the first 10 minutes, or it's gonna take us 2 days to finish this fight.
Yeah,
so
one or the other. On Monday we've got Mistwalkers at 8:30 p.m. Eastern here. On Thursday is a Song of Crystal and Shadow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern here as well. And on February 25th at noon, we'll be doing the Birthday Bash again. And as always, find our podcast wherever you download your podcasts from, now including Podbean.
Yeah.
That's it.
We just hit 800 listens.
Really?
Yeah.
On this show?
Just on the VäkTer stuff in general.
Oh, nice.
So
that's pretty good.
It's pretty cool.
I like it.
I'll take it. All right, so we're working on 5th level spells tonight. Like we're getting up there.
Spells.
We're really kind of starting to get up there in the spells. Like these ones are like this is where it starts getting more complicated with how the spells work, though.
Yep.
So like, and the damage and stuff gets kind of insane on some of them.
Yeah. Yeah, still going through the PHB doing spells. These are the 5th level spells in the player's handbook. The first one is a concentration spell. I've seen it used a couple times, but I don't know if I've ever seen it in any of our games.
It's animate objects.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's used this one in Fixius yet, because it's Bard, Sorcerer, Wizard, Artificer, and Forge domain, and the only one of those that we have is a Bard and a Sorcerer. An
Or
artificer too, but
artificer.
she's the wrong kind of artificer for it. Like she's
Well, and she probably doesn't
Battlesmith.
have level 5 spells yet.
Yeah, that's like really high up for artificers.
I think that's their
They can do all
max
kinds of crazy
level.
stuff, but they don't get their big spells until late.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So it's got 120 foot
Basically-
range, which is impressive.
Yeah. Depending on the
Lasts for a
size is how it goes. You can choose up to 10 non-magical objects. Medium objects count as 2, large count as 4, huge count as 8.
Okay.
So
I picture this being like when all the crap comes alive in the castle in Beauty and the Beast. Like that's what I pictured this spell doing.
Yeah.
Just like
you basically make
or
a
like
bunch
in
of little
Fantasia with the
constructs.
brooms.
Yeah. And then they like fight with you, I think.
Yeah, they do. So they each get attack bonuses and stuff like that, and then they do certain damage. And yeah, it's like the huge ones do up to 2d12. So like that's not nothing.
Yeah.
Like
it's interesting that they give you like very basic stats. Like the tiny ones have 20 hit points. They have an 18 AC, and it gives you strength and dex. And then
which makes sense. It would be harder to hit something that's smaller.
Yeah.
So,
but then it only does like a D4 plus 4 of damage. But potentially you could do a swarm of 10 of them and just go to town on somebody. Or a couple people.
Yes.
Whereas a huge one has 80 hit points, but only a 10 AC. It's really easy to hit. 18 strength, 6 dex, plus 8 to hit, 2d12 plus 4 damage. Could be worth it.
And it even tells you in here, so like their constitution is 10, intelligence and wisdom are 3, and its charisma is 1.
Yep.
Got a 30-foot speed. If the object lacks legs or other appendages it can use for locomotion, instead it has a flying speed of 30 feet and can hover, which is pretty cool. If it is secured to a surface or bolted to a wall, its speed is 0. Has blind sight, which is pretty cool, with a radius of 30 feet. And is blind beyond that distance. So it's got to be up close and personal to hit stuff, but still. When it drops to 0, it reverts back to its original form and any damage carries over. So, like, you know. So is this what they used on the table at the beginning of Campaign 3 of Critical Role? Is that what they did?
Well, I mean, maybe, but there are also, like, monsters in the monster manual that are animated objects. There's like a animated sword and
I've used those against you guys in a dungeon.
In Death House there's an animated broom that could basically wipe you out if you're a level 1 team.
That's true. There's a lot of things in Death House that could wipe you out though. To be fair.
Seriously.
I hope that we don't get anywhere near that when we're in Barovia. Like, it's bad enough that we have to go into the basement of Castle Ravenloft. I'm just like, no.
Please, no.
Hard pass.
But, like, in EXU, I'm pretty sure this is what Abria used to make the statue come to life.
Yeah.
When they went to confront...
When they were in that jungle place, right?
No, when they went to confront that wizard. EXU. Sorry. Calamity.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, sorry. I realized, as I said that she was in both versions of EXU.
Yeah.
And I've seen, like, one of the fights in Unsleeping City.
Okay.
Their bard
and they use something like this? Okay. And this one also lets you upcast. So, like, if you use a higher spell slot, you can do 2 additional objects for each slot level you use above 5th, which is pretty cool. So, like, if you burn a really high level spell, you could animate 2 really big objects.
This is the kind of thing that DMs hate and players love. Because even if you do a bunch of tiny things, it messes with the action economy.
It does.
Because then suddenly you have 10 little creatures doing a d4 plus 4 of damage every round.
Yeah.
It's a kind
and
of
as somebody who has had their players summon, what is it, summon beasts or whatever, where you can summon a crap ton of little fey creatures.
I don't know what
summon woodland beings or whatever. That
was only a temporary player character.
I know.
But also my druid...
You had to use the cool stuff.
My druid in Curse of Strahd goes to town with this kind of stuff. Like, conjure woodland beings, summon fae, summon whatever. Tons of it. If you can summon 8 elk, you can do some damage with 8 elk. Okay?
You can. You really can.
You can also summon 2 more bounders with that spell. Just throwing that out there. So when your character is also from Xhorhas,
there you go.
Summon a couple more bounders and tear somebody up.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a good spell. It's concentration, but
I was gonna say it also has a range of 120 feet. So you can be
at
quite a distance attacking with.
I feel like this would be a good distraction spell. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to get away from somewhere and you just animate a bunch of chairs.
Yeah, and throw them behind you so you can run away.
Yeah.
Heck yes.
I feel like that would be a good spell for that.
Nice.
What do we got left? We got anti-life shell.
Oh, this one's short. I've only seen this used once.
I think Keyleth used it.
She did. It was right.
They were running away from the Chroma Conclave.
Yeah, and she used it once when the white tiefling was with them.
Yeah, right at the beginning, during the Briarwood stuff.
Briarwood stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't watch that episode as often because it's part of the Douchebag Chronicles.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the very last one he's in.
Yeah. Something like that. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's a shimmering barrier extends out from you in a 10-foot radius and moves with you. So it's kind of the same size as
Tiny Hut.
Tiny Hut, yeah.
But this one moves.
Right.
Which is nice.
Remains centered on you, hedging out creatures other than undead and constructs. The barrier lasts for the duration, which is 1 hour. Prevents an affected creature from passing or reaching through. An affected creature can cast spells or make attacks with ranged or reach weapons through the barrier. If you move so that an affected creature is forced to pass through the barrier, the spell ends. Interesting. So you can't crush somebody with it, which seems like you should be able to if it's a 5th level spell, but bludgeoning damage if you pin someone up against it. But maybe that's just me.
Yeah. It's cool that it moves with you though, because Tiny Hut doesn't move.
It doesn't move, and if you leave it, then it
ends. Yeah. And this one at least just goes right along with you, which is pretty cool.
Another good escape
and it lasts up to an hour.
Yeah. This is another good escape spell because, if you get into trouble.
Yeah.
And a bunch of dudes are, chasing you.
Yeah, Keyleth used it when they were running away from the Chroma Conclave. That's my frame of reference for this spell, is the dragons showed up and she used it to get away from them, to get everybody, to the tree so she'd get them to Whitestone.
I forgot about that.
Or to get them to the castle, to Greyskull.
Yeah, and I think the only other time she used it, it was bounty hunters or something. Right?
Yeah.
I think they were
maybe, yeah. But it's a good spell. It's another one of those useful sort of utility spells. And I'm all for that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Next up is Arcane Hand.
Also known as Bigby's Hand.
Yeah.
Arcane Hand if you want to flavor it yourself. It's a good spell. I've seen the hand carry someone away.
Oh yeah,
it basically flies.
It's a lot of things. It gives you a couple of different things you can do with it. So it's a large spectral hand that is in an unoccupied space that you can see. And this spell goes 120 feet as well, which is really nice. It's concentration for a minute. And it moves at your command, mimicking the movements of your own hand. So it has an AC of 20 and hit points maximum equal to yours, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Strong.
Subsequent turn, you can move it to 60 feet, which is great. So it can really book. And you can either do a clenched fist, a forceful hand, a grasping hand, or an interposing hand. So it does different things depending on what you summon it for.
Yeah. Also, the strength is 26.
Obviously you can. Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Ram trying to like arm wrestle this thing?
That'd be amazing.
Like, I feel like that would be a thing that happens.
Unfortunately, it has advantage against creatures that are medium or smaller, so.
Yeah, but I mean, so like O could just cast Enlarge on Ram.
Yeah.
And then,
they both have advantage.
Then they could do the thing, and it would be hilarious.
True. That's very true. Yeah. Cleansed Fist is a good one because it does 4d8 force damage and it stays around.
Yeah.
And it's a bonus action, like, to keep using it, so...
Yep.
To be able to do a regular spell and then hit someone with 48 force damage is pretty great.
Right?
You can also push someone.
Is that with the same... That's with
athletics.
the forceful hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so... it's basically contested strength checks, like athletic checks. Yeah. And you have advantage against medium or smaller.
5
and it can move it 5 feet of equal times. Wait a minute. Okay. Whoa.
Plus a
that
number
did not
of
compute
feet
in my brain.
To 5 times your spellcasting ability modifier. Okay. So.
Okay.
So, like, if your spellcasting ability modifier is a +5.
Yep.
Then it's.
So that's what, 35 feet?
30 feet. Because it'd be 5 times 5. 25.
Yeah, +5.
+5, 30 feet. So you could push someone 30 feet with that.
Which is pretty cool. Grasping Hand attempts to grapple a huge or smaller within 5 feet of it. You use the hand strength score. While grappling the target, you can use bonus action to crush it, which is pretty cool. So the target takes 2d6 plus your spellcasting modifier of bludgeoning damage, which is kind of cool.
Heck yes. And then interposing hand is the last one. Basically, you put the hand between you and another creature you choose until you give it a different command. The hand moves to stay between you and the target, providing you with half cover, which is a +2 to AC. The target can't move through the hand space if its strength score is less than or equal to the hand strength score. So, 26. If you're less than 26, you can't move through the hand. If it is higher, I think
Ram might be at that point now.
Really?
After the most recent level, I can't remember. I can't remember what Ram's strength is now. Like, it's up there though.
Are they? Do they have like magic items that are making it that? Because
they either have a feat or a magic item, and I don't remember what it is. It must be a magic item that does it. But
okay.
I don't know. I don't remember anymore. Are you kidding me? I don't look at your guys' sheets. Unless it's to put random objects in there that you don't find for 6 months.
Yeah. Well, someone has to tell you, and I feel like my character with a perception of 20, just saying, would have noticed. Anyway, but yeah. So, the target can move toward you through the hand space if their strength score is higher than the hand strength score. So. Oh, but the space
so basically
is
just acts like a...
That's cool.
Basically just acts like a force wall. kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah.
So, which is
Nice.
pretty cool. Like, it's a good spell. I like it.
Yeah. A lot of uses.
It's definitely a bard spell, and I love that for them. Like,
Yep.
it's great. I'm here for it. Okay, so next we got Awaken. This is a spell I've never used, and I don't know that I've ever seen it used. It lasts for 8 hours. It's instantaneous. After spending the casting time tracing magical pathways within a precious gemstone, you touch a huge or smaller beast or plant. The target must have either no intelligence score or an intelligence of 3 or less. The target gains an intelligence of 10. The target also gains the ability to speak one language you know. If the target is a plant, gains the ability to move its limbs, roots, vines, creepers, and so forth, and it gains senses similar to a human's. Your GM chooses statistics appropriate for the awakened plant, such as for the awakened shrub or the awakened tree. Okay.
Yeah.
The awakened beast or plant is charmed by you for 30 days or until you or your companions do anything harmful to it. When the charmed condition ends, the awakened creature chooses whether to remain friendly to you based on how you treated it while it was charmed. This is a great spell. Like, I love this spell. I love the wording of the spell. Like, it's great.
I'm trying to think.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody use it.
Yeah, it's more like you see creatures that were created from this. Really? I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
What is the area of Barovia? Is it Yester Hill? I want to say.
In Barovia? I don't know. We've only been a couple of places in Barovia. We kind of went like on a very straight line to Vallaki. So,
gotcha.
By way of Golden Temple. So that's where we picked up Dez.
There's some kind of blighted staff.
Okay. That does something like this?
Does something like this. You can make like twig blights.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Like, is it one of the guys in...
Maybe it's one of the guys at
Storm King's Thunder, I think, has that item as an item. Like, kind of right at the beginning.
There's an encounter... Oh, gosh.
But it's in Barovia, too.
Yeah, I'm just trying to...
I honestly don't know, because I seriously don't... No, I seriously don't know. Well, I had it at one point. It basically makes, like... You can choose to either make a bunch of twig blights or a bunch of vine blights. Okay, yeah. And so, like, twig blights are like the little base guys, and then vine blights are kind of right above them, and then the needle blights are above that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Those are fun because I've done Sunless Citadel a couple of times.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, you run into a lot of those outside where the Gulthias tree is.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Like, the bush just kind of wiggles around, and then it attacks you. It's fine.
It looks like a normal...
Yeah.
Maybe it's Wizard of Wines that I got the staff from.
That's who's, like, in charge of our stuff in Barovia at the moment. They're the ones who, like...
We had to, like...
But for some reason, they can't make the Champagne de la Stamp anymore for some reason, and I don't know why.
Because they're missing a gem that grew it. So...
Okay.
Well, this is what I know from having played in Curse of Strahd for a long time. There were 3 gems that the family had that helped them grow their 3 different varieties of wine. A couple of them had been stolen, and, well, eventually all 3 of them get stolen, and so when you get there in Curse of Strahd, it's like there's a wine shortage and everybody's upset.
Okay.
Makes sense. In Barovia, you would need something like that.
They also really like soybeans in Barovia for whatever freaking reason.
I'm pretty sure that's a Brie thing.
I mean, it's entirely possible, but like everywhere we go, there's freaking soybeans.
I've never seen it in
why.
the book. I'll just say I've never seen it in the book. There's no soybeans in the book.
Like, it is definitely possible, but I don't know.
But no, there's supposed to be like the gem that was used to make Champagne de l'Estampe was like lost somewhere, and you can only find the other two, I think.
Okay.
I found the staff. It's a Gulthias staff made from the branch of a Gulthias tree. Spongy black, length of wood. Makes beasts visibly uncomfortable. The staff has 10 charges.
So do you know how those trees are made? Because I found out when I was running Sunless Citadel, like how those trees are made. It's a tree that grows from where a vampire was staked.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's like an opposite version of that tree too, right? Or like a...
So no, it depends on the time of year. The tree either grows a poison apple or it grows an apple that does like... It heals stuff or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And if you plant the seeds from the apple, they grow into twig blights. And then the twig blights run away in the middle of the night and go back to the tree. So...
Yeah. Okay, so you have 10 charges. It doesn't say on here, but I'm pretty sure you use a charge to create blights.
Okay.
If the staff is broken or burned to ashes, its wood releases a terrible inhuman scream that can be heard out to a range of 300 feet. All blights that can hear the scream immediately wither and die. The staff can be wielded in a magical quarterstaff. It deals normal quarterstaff damage. Each time and you can expend one charge to regain a number of hit points equal to the damage dealt by the weapon. Each time a charge is spent, red blood oozes from the staff. And there's some madness effects.
Yeah, go figure.
This is what it is. So maybe he altered mine then. Because I could make blights with mine, but while you are attuned to this staff, blights and other evil plant creatures don't regard you as hostile unless you harm them. And then, as I recall, I used mine because we were by the Gulthias tree. We were getting attacked by blights. I broke it to kill the blights, and then I think it killed the tree or something.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, like there's stuff that you can do to those trees when they...
Yeah.
Like when you find them, but, you know.
Anyways. Way off topic, but interesting. And you know I love magic items.
Of course. Who doesn't?
Right?
Let's see. Our next spell is Banishing Smite. So I don't play paladins because I hate paladins. And I never remember to use Smite when I do play paladins. The 2 times that I've played paladins, I never remember to use this stupid Smite.
Oh, no.
Never.
Well, the most recent one you did...
I think I did once.
You were, like, stopped for a while. You couldn't move.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
I got, eaten paralyzed by zombies and stuff. I should have died so much sooner than that, but Brie was in chat just saving my butt, so.
I think the only time I've seen this one used was when they were getting attacked in campaign 2 of Critical Role in the bookstore. Or not the bookstore, the magic item store.
Okay.
Oh no. I can't think of his name. What's his name? The Furbolg.
I can see his face and I can hear his voice in my head because he's so iconic. Oh, it's gonna bother me now. What the heck was that guy's name?
Shoot. I think Ford used it. Because it's a Hexblade
spell. Okay, so and I also don't like the wording on Smite. Like, because it says the next time you hit a creature with a weapon attack before the spell ends. So, like, basically you use it and then it just sits there, like, which is good, I guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So this one, your weapon crackles with force energy and deals an extra 5d10 force damage, which is pretty great. But, like, if you miss, then it just sits there.
Yeah.
So, additionally, if the attack reduces the target to 50 points or fewer, you banish it, which is great.
Yeah.
Unless you're Ram.
Right.
In which case, then you're screwed. No. So the other Furbug, the one who had the magic item shop in not Rexentrum, in
Zadash.
Zadash, yeah. Yeah, I still can't remember his name.
Pumatsol.
It's Pumatsol, yeah, there we go.
Oh my gosh. It's like, I know this name. Dagnab. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the only time I've seen them use it. And Ford used it when they were getting, like, attacked by an assassin. And
yes.
Banished them.
Yep.
Spider Lady. Well, she's not a Spider Lady. She worships a Spider Lady.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And so it works a lot like the regular banishment spell. If the target is native to the plane you're on, it vanishes into a harmless demiplane.
Yeah.
And then is just incapacitated. Which, whatever. Yeah. I just never remember to use Smite, like...
Yeah.
Ever.
Which I think banishment, you have to concentrate on it the whole time, and if they're native elsewhere, then they go. But with
then they just stay there.
Yeah, with this, if you hit them and they're at 50 points or fewer, you banish them. That's pretty good.
But it comes back.
No, I think returning to its home plane. Yeah.
Yeah, but if it remains there until the spell ends.
That's if the target is native to this plane.
Yeah, the inevitable end coming up through the floor like it's water. Yep, exactly.
Right? So
yeah. So it is, it's a Smite spell. It's fine. I just don't like paladins. Big Beast hand we don't need to do because we already did the regular hand one.
Yep.
What do we got after that?
Circle of Power. Okay. I just saw this used for the first time in Dimension 20 a couple weeks ago. This spell is dope.
Yeah.
It's a 10-minute long spell. It's got a 30-foot radius. It moves with you. It's a sphere that moves with you, like an aura. For the duration, each friendly creature within 30 feet of you has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. Advantage.
Ooh, that's nice.
Additionally, when an affected creature succeeds on a saving throw made against a spell or magical effect that allows it to make a saving throw to take only half damage, they instead take no damage.
Ooh, that's nice.
And it's
really
not
nice.
just dexterity or wisdom, it's all saving throws. Now, I think this was initially meant to be a paladin spell.
Mm-hmm. But Twilight Domain gets it looks like.
Yeah. Which is why I saw it, because the cleric in Dimension 20's Fantasy High is a Twilight cleric.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like, I think is 5th level the highest level you can get as a paladin?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, this is like their top level stuff, which makes sense because that's a pretty good spell. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good spell. I like that it's a 30-foot bubble.
Yeah. Which because I think
Lava Genasi, nice.
Who?
Yeah, and I always like stuff that moves with you. You know,
Oh yeah,
like
me
stuff that you
too.
don't get stuck in one position in a battlefield, because there's a couple of like lower spells that you can use that are like aura spells, but once you
Yeah.
put them down, that's just kind of where they are. So you better hope that
Well,
like the bad guys come to you.
like daylight only stays in one place,
Yeah,
and you can't really move it. And
yeah,
that's one that would
that's
be
a, like
nice to move with you.
yeah. Daylight is a good spell if you know that the vampire you are fighting is low on hit points.
Except, you know what? This is what I discovered, unfortunately, as a
Okay.
cleric. The daylight spell doesn't hurt vampires.
Oh, it doesn't like affect them the way that like a like daylight
No,
outside type outside
because
would?
it's not
Oh.
actual sunlight.
Well,
Sunbeam
then
hurts
I
them.
don't feel bad not using it when we were in the asylum in Tempest, because I had that spell and I never got around to using it because like we were getting our butts kicked.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So,
I found that out when I tried to use it that way when we got attacked by vampires. It does
okay.
not. It. And I think it was one of those that like people on the internet asked, and Jeremy Crawford answered it eventually.
Okay.
Sunbeam and what's the other? There's like another sun one. Um, that's
Those ones hurt
actual
the vampires,
sunlight,
but not daylight. Okay.
not daylight.
Which makes no sense.
Yeah.
But whatever. You know.
But I think daylight is just
um
meant to be like a light up the room kind of
okay.
spell. I don't know.
Makes sense, I guess.
Whatever. It's unfair. That's all I'm saying. No. I think it. You know what though? I think it does work on other creatures. There are other creatures that have advantage in dim or dark light,
Okay.
and it does work to
Yeah,
weaken
and there
creatures
are
like that.
there are some
Shadowfell.
creatures that like they can only move around in shadows, or like they can teleport in shadows. So like I feel like that would help get rid of that ability.
Yeah, you know, I think those
So that they can't.
I think those Sorrow Sworn would be vulnerable to a spell like daylight
Yeah.
because they
I think is it
dim light.
Shatterkai that can teleport to shadow areas from shadow to shadow? For some reason I think so, but I don't remember. There's something that can teleport between shadows, and I feel like that would interrupt that. Like a daylight spell would interrupt that. So
I would tend to agree.
Let's see. Next up, we've got Cloud Kill. This
Kill.
one, I haven't. I did use this once. I used this when you guys were down in the tomb underneath Veltodir, when you went to go rescue the dwarven noble guy. When you guys went down there,
Yep.
I did use this in that one room. You guys got hit with this pretty hard, and then I had to like change it partway through because I completely forgot that it like makes people cough and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, crap, can't use this one. So, but it's got a really nice range on it. It's 120 feet and it lasts for 10 minutes. The radius is 20 feet, and it's poisonous fog.
Yeah.
Which is great. It spreads around corners, which is also great. When a creature enters the spell's area for the first time or starts a turn there, has to make Constitution saving throw. The creature takes 5d8 poison damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one, and creatures are affected even if they hold their breath or don't need to breathe. So this actually would affect Ram, which is kind of funny because they don't breathe. The fog moves 10 feet away from you at the start of each of your turns, rolling along the surface of the ground. Oh, I didn't realize that it moved. That's cool.
Yeah.
When you cast this spell using a higher spell slot, damage is increased. Okay, so that's good. And this one belongs to sorcerers, wizards, death domain, clerics, circle of the land, underdark, circle of spores, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oath of conquest, and then undead warlocks
And
alchemists.
artificers.
Which makes sense because I feel like they would just like chuck a bottle or something and it would just like and like blow up.
Yep.
So that's great.
I think was it the black dragon? No, his stuff was acid. Oh, but couldn't he cast this spell when they were fighting him?
Maybe.
Umbrasyl?
I don't know. It's been a minute. Maybe.
I feel like there was something with a cloud of poison. Anyway.
It's definitely possible, but I don't know. Yeah. But
Also,
it's a good spell. I like it. Next one up is Commune. I've used this. As a cleric, I've used this.
Mm-hmm. Same.
So my character in Affy's game used this to contact her deity, who turned out to be her son, which I was like, of course it is. Because emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what D&D is for.
Casting time of a minute. And lasts for a minute. You can contact your deity or divine proxy and ask up to 3 questions. It can be answered yes or no. You must ask your questions before the spell ends. You receive a correct answer for each question. Divine beings aren't necessarily omniscient, so you might receive an unclear as an answer. I don't know that I've ever seen this spell used where people use it as a yes or a no. It's like you get vague ideas for stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it does say... Oh, yeah, it's like right in that second paragraph. In a case where a one-word answer could be misleading or contrary to the deity's interests, a DM might offer a short phrase.
For a short phrase, yeah. And if you cast this spell 2 or more times before you finish your long rest, there's like a chance that it'll fail.
Yeah.
Clerics, Oath of Devotion, Order, Domain, and Oath of Glory. And like, so Keela has this because she's War Domain. And it was one of the few spells that I was like, yeah, I should probably pack this and figure out who the hell my god is, because she doesn't know. She like was suffering from not knowing, like she was lost a bunch of memories and stuff when she fell from grace, so like she didn't know.
Yeah.
So Immune with Nature is up next. I've never used this one, but I've seen it used. I know it's a druid spell.
Yeah.
Takes a minute to cast, or ritual, either one.
This is the one. Yeah. You get to know about the land within
use this?
3 miles. Maybe.
Okay.
I know.
It was either that or
a couple times.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Like, I think they used it in Iman to find the tunnels. Yeah, underneath, and then I think she used it a couple other times.
Yeah. Read it. Okay. So...
But you get to know about like the land. If there are like...
Yeah, so you instantly gain knowledge of up to 3 facts of your choice about any of the following subject areas. So terrain and bodies of water, prevalent plants, minerals, and animals or peoples, powerful celestial, fey, fiends, elementals, or undead, influence from other planes of existence, and buildings.
Yeah. Not bad.
So you could... Yeah.
I almost imagine it giving you like a 3D map of the area. Like...
Yeah, kinda. And like telling you where things are, like, you know, like if say there's a fiend or something that you're not sure where they are.
Yeah.
And this would help you find that. And it would locate portals, I would assume, because of the influence from other planes. So did she maybe use this in the Underdark when they were down there at first? Because that's how they discovered there was a portal on the far side of the village of like Duragar.
Oh yeah,
that they never went to go back. Like, they were going to go back and look at it, and then they never got around to it. I think
you're right. I think you might be right. This one might be what they use for that.
Yeah.
It definitely is handy for helping a group get a lay of the land kind of a thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Know what you're up against.
Utility spell.
Cone of Cold. I like this spell. My Arctic Druid in Barovia, Curse of Strahd, has this.
This one of her spells?
Yeah, she's got this, and she's got also a ringlet that lets her do it once for free.
Okay.
Nice. It's nice. 8d8 cold damage.
Yikes.
In a 60-foot cone.
60-foot cone.
It's not bad.
And it's one action casting time.
Yep.
Save is a Constitution save.
Constitution save.
Would not be very effective against Ram, but everybody else in the party who has bad Constitution, which is literally everybody. It would work.
I like that it includes the line, "A creature killed by this spell becomes a frozen statue until it thaws."
Yeah. Okay. Like, this is like, I feel like this is like the thing that like Frost Dragons cast, isn't it? It's basically what they cast. Yeah, I think the range might be a little bit longer on that, but
this is also what that bad guy, like slaver guy in campaign 2 used.
Oh yeah, the Iron Shepherd guy.
Yeah. Lorenzo.
Yeah. Lorenzo. Good name for a bad guy.
It's true.
A weird name for an Oni, but it's a good name.
Good name. True.
Yeah. And at higher levels, you can do more damage, which is good. Yeah. I've never played a character that has like this high level of spells. So like, I can't really imagine using big spells like this because I've never done it.
Really?
So yeah, I've never been in a high enough level game where I could. Everything usually gets to like level 7 and then everybody's just done, so.
Well, this is further reason that you should probably be in a campaign of mine once I make one.
A meat sickle, if you will. Yes, exactly. Yes, a meat sickle.
A meat sickle.
What have we got after that? Let's see.
Conjure Elemental.
I love this spell. It's fun. It's a good spell. Great when you feel like.
Oh yeah. Well, I've used this shit up multiple times just to carry us places.
Yep, I know. I love that you burn a fifth. That you use a spell for that out of that book. Where it's just like, here, let me just summon an air elemental, and I'm gonna
look. It lets me do it twice. Here. I might as well. Their fly speed is like 90 feet.
Yep, exactly.
And Karani is canonically frail, so she would be easy to carry.
Exactly. She's a cleric who didn't take Constitution.
Nope.
It's fine.
It lasts for an hour. It's a conjuration spell, which I do love me some good conjuration spells. You call forth an elemental servant. Choose an area of air, earth, fire, or water that fills a 10-foot cube within range. An elemental of challenge rating 5 or lower, appropriate to the area you chose, appears in an unoccupied space. Well, that makes sense. Air's all around us. So an air elemental would be easy to conjure. For example, a fire elemental emerges from a bonfire, an earth elemental rises up from the ground, etc., etc. I never knew that was part of that spell, and I'm pretty sure I've never seen anyone use it that way.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. I think it just sort of I've seen it where there's it just appears.
Yeah.
But that's cool, that. Yeah. It's cool that it does that. I like that.
The elemental.
There was a room in the 200 room dungeon that we did, when Bria was running that.
Yeah.
There was a room that if you hit the stones or whatever that were in there, it would summon them aggressively, and if you like did the elemental attack on them, then they were friendly. Like then it didn't bother you.
Interesting.
So, and there was like a bowl of dirt, and there was a thing of fire, and then there was, I forget what the cold one was. I don't remember now. Or the water one. I don't remember. Maybe it was a bowl of water or something like that.
Yeah.
And then air, I think we just breathed on something.
It's very the fifth element.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Very much so. And it also gives you like options of different ones. So like if you, depending on the challenge rating that you summon them at.
Yeah.
Like when you're your Circle of the Moon Druid, you can summon the elementals, the big ones, the big elementals.
Yeah. Well, you can turn into them.
Yeah.
But anyone can
cast a spell for him. Increase the challenge rating by 1 for each spell slot you use above 5th. Okay. Nice. I'm here for that.
Important to note that if your concentration is broken on this spell, the elemental doesn't disappear. Instead, you lose control of the elemental. It becomes hostile towards you and your companions, and it might attack. An uncontrolled elemental can't be dismissed by you, and it disappears 1 hour after you summoned it.
Oh, goodness. Makes sense, though.
Yeah.
I guess, because you've technically lost control of it at that point. So.
Yeah. I think that happened in their Happy Fun Ball the first time.
Okay.
Okay,
so remind me, in campaign 2, did they fight a water elemental underneath a city?
They fought a djinn.
Djinn, okay.
Yeah, it was like a water genie.
Okay.
And there were several water elementals that it summoned up.
Summoned or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was like, for some reason, I was like, I remember this, but I don't know if I actually remember this.
You are correct.
So.
Yeah, they had captured it and were using it to control the flow of the tides and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so next up is Conjure Volley.
Yeah.
So I've read this spell because you get it as a ranger, and it's an interesting spell. You fire a piece of non-magical ammunition from a ranged weapon or throw a non-magical weapon into the air and choose a point within range. Hundreds of duplicates of the ammunition or weapon fall in a volley from above and then disappear. Each creature within a 40-foot radius, 20-foot high cylinder centered on that point must make a dexterity saving throw. Creature takes 8d8 damage on a failed save or half as much on a successful one. The damage is the same type as that of the ammunition. This is great, but the only problem with this spell that I can see is that by the time you get to the point where you're a ranger and you've got 5th level spells, almost nothing that you fight is it's already getting halved because
it's just
it's resistant against non-magical weapons.
Yeah.
So it's great if you're fighting a bunch of beasts and crap. Yeah. But at that point, I don't know.
They did the ranger dirty. We've talked about it before.
Yes, we've talked about how they did the ranger in.
There are so many things they could have. There are so many choices they could have made, and this is what they came up with. That one of their most powerful spells is just turn one arrow into a whole bunch of arrows.
Yep, it's kind of there are other things you could do as a ranger that are better worth your time.
Yep.
I guess it's good in a pinch, but again, it's one of those spells that's kind of
I still advocate for the melee ranger with 2 short swords because you get an extra bonus action attack because they're 2 light weapons. Just always.
Yep.
It's great.
Okay. So the next one is a spell that I don't actually think I've ever even seen. Contact Other Plane. Huh. I can't say that I've ever seen this spell before.
Warlock or wizard?
It lasts for so it's a minute to cast it, or you can ritually cast it. Lasts for a minute. You mentally contact a demigod, the spirit of a long dead sage, or some other mysterious entity from another plane. Contacting this extraplanar intelligence can strain or even break your mind. Oh, that's fun. When you cast this spell, make a DC 15 intelligence saving throw. On a failure, you take 66 psychic damage and are insane until you finish a rest. While insane, you can't take actions, can't understand what other creatures say, can't read, and speak only in gibberish.
You feeble mind yourself, basically.
Yeah, you could go insane.
Why would you need to
a
do
greater
this?
restoration can fix it at least, so that's good. But that takes a huge spell away from somebody.
Yeah.
Another on a successful save, you can ask the entity up to 5 questions. You must ask your questions before the spell ends. The GM answers each question with one word, such as yes, no, maybe, never, irrelevant, unclear. So it's like contacting a magical 8-ball. It's terrible.
For a 5th level spell.
Yeah.
Why would you
for a warlock or a wizard? I mean, I guess.
Why would you do that when you have like if you had a cleric or someone in your party that could just
just like call up your god.
Yeah. Lord have mercy. Maybe that's why I've never heard of it, is because it's pointless to use. And the downside is so downsided. Like, if you are a wizard, because it's warlock and wizard spell, right? If you're a wizard, you have a good chance of passing that DC 15 intelligence save. If you're a warlock, why would you ever use your spell to do this? One of 2
because
spell
you have
slots.
such a limited spells.
There's
for
no
one
way.
thing. No. Unless you're going to do this literally before you sleep and you're just doing it for the lulz. Like, that would be the only reason I could see that you would use this spell as a warlock. Like, no. Just no. No.
No. And here
crazy.
we come to one of the most controversial spells in the whole
this spell
game.
Is interesting.
Contagion.
For sure. I think Keelai can take this spell now. I think this is one of the ones that, like, she's strong enough to have this spell. And I looked at it and I'm like, oh, I love this spell, but I can't use it.
Yeah. Well, and
because of like triggers in game, so like I can't use it. So like it's a great freaking spell, but
well, and we can talk about why it's controversial too, and it's not controversial because of the disease thing. It's like, so okay.
Some of the wording I think is weird.
The wording is weird, and there's something about the timing that's weird too. So, first of all, you have to touch the creature that you cast this on.
Yep.
Which means you have to be close enough to touch them. On a hit, the target is poisoned. Okay.
Yep.
At the end of each of the poisoned target's turns, they must make a Constitution saving throw. If they succeed on 3 of these saves, they are no longer poisoned and the spell ends. If they fail 3 of these saves, the target is no longer poisoned, but choose one of the diseases below. The target is subject to the chosen disease for the spell's duration, which is 7 days.
Yes. So do you choose the spell, or does the person who was targeted choose the spell?
You choose it. Person casting it chooses it.
Okay.
Since this spell induces a natural disease in its target, any effect that removes a disease or otherwise ameliorates a disease's effects apply to it. So something as simple as
cure disease.
Cure disease or a greater restoration. Even, I think, a lesser restoration, doesn't that also?
I think that removes poison. But I don't think that removes diseases, does it?
Well, and like 5...
it removes like blinded. So it would remove the blinded one, for sure.
5 hit points of lay on hands would be enough.
Yeah.
So, like, why would you spend...
yeah, this is a really high-level spell to use something that...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're
You can
This
end
would be
either one disease or condition afflicting it. The condition can be
okay.
blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poison. So it's, yeah.
Yeah, so
Second
like it
level
would be
spell.
undone by that.
Second level
This would
spell.
be I feel like this one has more role play things to it where like if you're in a campaign where say you're doing like political intrigue and stuff like that where you're like the bad guy is like a noble person or something, like this would be effective in that situation, but I feel like this is very situational.
Yeah.
About where this spell is good.
Well, and also like the fact that they have to fail 3 con saves before you even get to take advantage, like
Advantage of it, yeah.
By the time you get to 3 rounds of combat, most combats, even at this spell, are over or close to being over.
Yes.
So like it doesn't seem worth it, I'll say.
Yeah.
Is it
I'm not a fan of like the sort of get arounds of this spell.
I think in
like,
the initial wording of this spell in the actual book, I don't know if I have mine next to me.
I don't. Mine is across the room. Otherwise, I'd grab it.
I think the initial wording of the spell didn't have the distinction between like when they're hit, they're poisoned. When they fail the saves, then the disease, because there was some sort of controversy for a while that was because people would use Slimy Doom, where you would like bleed uncontrollably, and it gives disadvantage on Constitution checks and Constitution saving throws, and so people would do Slimy Doom, and then you have disadvantage, and then you keep the disease for 7 days.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, whenever you take damage, you're stunned. Yikes. Yikes.
It deals. Yeah. That's crazy. Like, if it takes effect, that's great. But the problem is like at a level like like that level of combat.
Yeah.
Everybody's got lesser restoration or something very similar. And that could just undo this spell. Like that's a big power discrepancy, I feel.
Again, level 5 spell. And someone can undo it with a level 2 or 5 hit points of lay on hands. Or now there's so many classes and everything where eventually, like if you're fighting another humanoid, if they're a high enough level druid or paladin, it just straight up doesn't work. Because they're immune to poison or disease.
Immune to poison.
Monks, same.
Yep.
So
yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that spell.
No.
I guess.
Like, it would be it had like there are parts of it that are very cool. Or could be
like if it works.
Yeah.
But if it's very situational, that's for sure.
I'll have to ask people questions. Okay.
So next we've got what is it?
Creation.
Okay.
Oh, you just conjure up like
stuff. Non-living object of vegetable matter, stone, or crystal, precious metals, and gems. I don't think I've ever seen this used. It's an illusion spell. It has different duration for depending on what you summon.
Why would you need to use a 5th again?
What do you use this for?
Everybody has rope. You pull wisp
5-foot cube
of shadow material from the Shadowfell to create a non-living object of vegetable matter within range. You can also use this spell to create mineral objects such as stone, crystal, or metal. no larger than 5-foot cube. Form and material that you've seen before. And then it lasts a different duration depending on what you make.
Different duration. I feel like this is another one of those really situational spells.
Yeah.
Like,
so you could, I guess you could use it to trick someone. Like,
Yeah. But why would you want to?
yeah.
Like, I feel like this is just kind of a situational spell.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you could use it. So, like, you could use it to summon, like, a stone statue or whatever, and that holds down a button
Yeah.
while you run. Like, you could use it for something like that if you're crawling around in a dungeon. Like, that would be a good use for that. But I still feel like this is very situational.
Yeah.
Like,
not that great of a spell.
Yeah. Next is Destructive Wave. So I think were we talking about this with Jeremy last night?
We were. It's a good spell.
Like,
Tempest Domain clerics have these. That's why I know it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. So, you strike the ground, creating a burst of divine energy that ripples outward from you. Each creature you choose within 30 feet of you must succeed, and so you do get to choose, must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 5d6 thunder damage, as well as 5d6 radiant or necrotic damage of your choice, and be knocked prone. Okay. A creature that succeeds takes half as much and is not knocked prone. It's a good spell.
Yeah, so this is kind of like the adult version of, like, Thunderwave.
Yeah.
Like, it's the grown-up version.
That's right. Big Daddy.
The 30-foot bubble around you is really nice.
Yeah.
Like, the 30-foot radius, that's really nice.
Yeah. It's a big space.
Yes. It's a good spell.
And again, it's got, like, you can choose radiant or necrotic. But also, thunder damage is not something that many things are resistant to.
Yes.
Which I think we've talked about.
Which is also
before.
good. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's good. And did it say that it moves them away from you? Oh no, it just knocks them prone. Okay.
Just knocks them prone, yeah.
I think Thunderwave moves them away from you 5 feet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because Thunderwave moves in a cube like that, whereas Destructive Wave is like a radius.
Yes.
I almost imagine it, you know, like cartoons when someone strong slams the ground and you see the ground go whoop, like that.
Yeah, yep, yeah.
That's what
I imagine it like too.
Is this the spell that Karine used? The next one, Dispel Evil and Good. I'm trying to remember if this is the one I used.
Well, I don't remember.
Shimmering energy surrounds and protects you from fey, undead, and creatures originating from beyond the material plane. For the duration, celestials, elementals, fey, fiends, and undead have disadvantage on attack rolls against you.
And this is just on on yourself,
no, this is not the one that I used. Yeah, this is just...
No, you used, like, Spirit Guardians or something that one time for sure.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of what's the one that I used to banish the guy underwater.
Wasn't it Banishment?
No, it was a different one.
And I don't remember.
I don't remember either. It might have been this one. Okay, you can end the spell early by using...
have your guys' spell list memorized because...
that would be too many. And clerics can change it every day.
Yeah, and there's a druid in the party too. And a sorcerer.
Okay, so you
that would be crazy.
You can either... Yeah, plus artificers also get to prepare spells. That would be too much. There's no way. Okay, so
Aaron says group hydrate.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.
So you can either break enchantment, as your action, touch a creature you can reach that is charmed, frightened, or possessed by a celestial elemental, fey, fiend, or undead. The creature you touch is no longer charmed, frightened, or possessed by such creatures. Well, that's handy.
Yes.
The other option is dismissal. As your action, make a melee spell attack against a celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead you can reach. On a hit... Oh, yes, this is what I used.
Oh, okay.
On a hit, you attempt to drive the creature back to its home plane. The creature must succeed on a charisma saving throw or be sent to its home plane if it isn't there already. If they aren't on their home plane, undead are sent to the Shadowfell and Fae are sent to the Feywild.
Nice.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's
good spell. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one that you used.
I think you're right.
Against
reading that dismissal part, that sounds right.
I don't even remember what that thing was called now. Like what kind of creature that was. It was like an underwater serpent thingy with like hooks for hands. I remember that, but I don't remember beyond that. Yeah. I was like, I need something that's like it counts from being from the abyss, but also underwater.
Right.
And that thing fit the bill. I'm like, bet. So
it's very good.
Okay, so next we've got Dominate Person. This one, it's got a range of 60 feet, lasts for a minute, concentration. This one, so I've seen this used to interesting effects, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The target has to succeed on a wisdom save or they're charmed by you for the duration. Fewer creatures that are friendly to you are fighting it. It has advantage on the saving throw.
Yeah.
While the target is charmed, you have a telepathic link with it as long as the two of you are on the same plane of existence. You can use the telepathic link to issue commands to the creature while you are conscious, which it does its best to obey. You can specify a simple and general course of action, such as attack that creature, run over there, do the thing, all of that. Do the thing. Has to make a new wisdom save every time it takes damage, so don't hit it once you charm it. And is this the one where like they get mad at you when it runs out? They become hostile towards you? No.
It doesn't say that on here. But I assume that would happen.
Yeah. And you can use higher spell slots to make it last longer.
I don't know. There's this sentence in here that says you can use your action to take total and precise control of the target. Until the end of your next turn, the creature takes only the actions you choose and doesn't do anything that you don't allow it to do. During this time, you can also cause the creature to use a reaction, but this requires you to use your own reaction as well. Huh.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. And this one is Bard, Sorcerer, Wizard, Trickery Domain, Order Domain, Blood Domain, Oathbreaker, Conquest, and Archfane, the Great Old One. So, Warlocks. Nice.
Makes sense.
I like that it has a 60-foot range on it. That's good. Dream. I have never used this spell.
I have read this
and I think
before.
I've only ever seen it done once.
Yeah.
I
think I've read it before.
Yeah. Okay. So casting time is a minute. Lasts for 8 hours. And it's a wisdom save. Which is, like you do. So this would be great against Ram. Except for Ram doesn't sleep.
Ram doesn't sleep. But wait, so
it changes the creature's dreams.
Oh, wait. So you okay. You cast it on yourself and you can go into somebody else's dream even if they're far away and talk to them, basically. If the target is asleep, the messenger appears in the target's dreams and can converse with the target as long as it remains asleep. Through the duration of the spell, the messenger can also shape the environment of the dream, creating landscapes, objects, and other images. The messenger can emerge from the trance at any time, ending the effect of the spell early. The target recalls...
D&D Freddy.
The target recalls the dream perfectly upon waking. If the target is awake when you cast the spell, the messenger knows it and can either end the trance or wait for the target to fall asleep, at which point the messenger appears in the target's dreams. You can make the messenger appear monstrous and terrifying. If you do, the messenger can deliver a message of no more than 10 words, and then the target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, echoes of the phantasmal monstrosity spawn a nightmare that lasts the duration of the target's sleep and prevents the target from gaining any benefit from that rest.
From the rest. Ooh.
In addition, when the target wakes up, they take 3d6 psychic damage. Ooh, if you have a body part, lock of hair clipping from a nail or similar portion of the target's body, the target makes its saving throw with disadvantage. Dang. So it can be a nice thing where you contact your friends from far away.
Yeah, like an interesting way to convey a message. Or you can be a dick and, cause somebody to not sleep.
Nightmares.
And it's basically like, what like are those? Night hag. Your sleep demons.
Oh,
sleep demons.
Yeah.
You've ever had the pleasure of having one of those?
I have not, thankfully, but...
Yeah, they suck.
Isn't there something, too, where, like...
Or, like, sleep paralysis demons. Those are horrible.
Isn't there something with night hags that's similar to this, where they can keep you from gaining a long rest?
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember, because I'm not Jeremy. I don't use hags.
I'm not Jeremy.
Like, Jeremy loves hags. He really
does.
Too. Like, hags are great, but...
I'm a fan of elemental stuff, also.
Yeah, nightmare haunting.
Mm-hmm.
They can interrupt long rest. It gains no benefits from rest.
I was afraid
and its hit point is reduced by 5.
We got so many spells still.
That's crazy. Okay, keep it moving.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how many are on the
last We're on the second page now.
Oh, okay, that's not that bad. We can do this. Okay. They're just more complicated spells,
Yeah, so they take a little bit longer to get through. I mean, if you want, because we're at an hour and 20, do you want to take like a 5-minute break real quick?
Yeah, we're going to take a break
real quick. We'll come back and finish up.
Yeah, and we'll be back to finish up the level 5 spells. And then we'll see you in a minute. Give me just a second.
Push the button.
It's us. We're here.
We're back. And we're front. Or something. I don't know.
Crisscross. Everybody claps. I don't know. Okay, we're on the next.
Tell me you've been to a wedding in the Midwest without telling me you've been to a wedding in the Midwest.
A wedding or a prom, I'll say. In the early 2000s.
Or homecoming.
Or homecoming, right? Any of those.
Any of them.
Okay.
I'm going to unplug something.
Our next spell on the 5th level spells is Flame Strike.
It's a great spell.
I'm also a fan of the spell. It's a bummer that there's no way my cleric would ever use it.
My cleric almost killed somebody with... Well, okay, so my cleric almost got killed because of this spell.
Oh. Wait, why?
Because... So, okay, Des had made Gabriella into a ghoul. And Keeli, she has a big problem with undead. And her girlfriend was walking around as an undead. And so I tried to call this spell down on Gabriella to get rid of her so that Des couldn't use her anymore.
Nice.
But he counterspelled me because I wasn't paying attention to spell slots. So...
Poop.
I was like, I should have done it. I should have done my spells differently. Like if I had been thinking, I would have used a 4th level fireball on Gabriella, which he would have had to use his last 5th level spell to counter. And then I would have used my 5th level to use Greater Restoration and get the crown off of his head. But I wasn't thinking straight. So
well,
I did my spells out of order and I was upset. And then he tried to kill me and almost did.
Yeah.
So
this spell is pretty straightforward. A vertical column of divine fire roars down from the heavens. Each creature in a 10-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder centered on a point within range must make a dexterity saving throw. A creature takes 4d6 fire damage and 4d6 radiant damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. And, of course, as with many spells of this type, you can always level it up.
Yep. It's a good spell. I like it. And, like, I feel like this spell reminds me of, like, a Bible story, and I don't know why.
Oh, yeah, like holy fire from heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to parochial school when I was really little, and I remember some of the Bible stories, but they're all, like, very vague, and I'm sure I don't remember them correctly. But for some reason, this one always reminds me of, like, a Bible story.
I don't know that I can think of a specific one where it's something like this that happens.
Or it's a column of fire or something, yeah.
Well, I guess there's...
I don't know.
The Israelites followed a column of fire or column of smoke, depending on the weather. It was like fire at night, smoke, cloud during the day.
Okay. I don't know. I don't remember. There was a long time ago. Like, I was, like, in 3rd grade. So,
that was... Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, when the pharaohs tried to follow the Jews across the Red Sea. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
This spell reminds me of that. But yeah, it's got a 60-foot radius on it, which is pretty, or 60-foot range on it, which is cool.
Yeah.
You don't have to be up and close and personal to do it.
That's right.
Which is always good. And it's fire, so duh.
Yeah.
It's a dex save. It's a good spell.
Yeah.
And it's an action to cast it.
Yeah.
So. Okay, so the next spell, I never pronounced this right. Is it Geese?
Gas.
Gas. Okay.
Yeah. This is
like I would think of that like the word C but with a G.
Oh, yeah, it kind of does.
So
this is like a major charm spell. Like a very heavy-handed charm spell. It takes a minute to cast. It lasts for 30 days.
Yeah. Like this is a big kahuna charm spell.
It's a big kahuna charm spell. It does have a 60-foot range, so you could potentially be hiding somewhere casting this spell on somebody. Because it does take a full minute. That's 10 rounds. That's not small. You would need the time to cast it. Yeah. You place a magical command on a creature that you can see within range, forcing it to carry out some service or refrain from some action or course of activity as you decide. If the creature can understand you, it must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become charmed by you for the duration. While the creature is charmed by you, it takes 5d10 psychic damage each time it acts in a manner directly counter to your instructions, but no more than once each day. A creature that can't understand you is unaffected by the spell. You can issue any command you choose short of an activity that would result in certain death. So, like, you can't issue some sort of, like, suicidal command.
Yeah.
You can end the spell early by using an action to dismiss it. A remove curse, greater restoration, or wish spell also would end it. I
would not want to waste a wish spell to get rid of this.
Yeah, because you'd have to be careful how you worded that too, right?
Yeah.
They used this on an NPC in the 3rd campaign of NADPOD. Another, like a bad guy used this on someone. And basically, the command that he was given was that he could not help anyone. Ooh. And he knocked himself unconscious trying to heal somebody. And they found him after they fought somebody. But
okay,
I think they were able to save him. But it was like, yeah, he was knocked out by this spell.
When you upcast this at 7th or 8th level, the duration is a year. And when you cast this using a 9th level spell slot, it lasts until you use one of those to remove that spell.
Dang.
So.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's crazy. That's a
Speaking
really
of
heavy spell.
Speaking of Greater Restoration. Greater Restoration is
Such
our
a good
next
spell.
It's
so good when a cleric finally gets this spell.
Oh yeah.
Like they're just like,
fix so many
I can
problems.
finally fix so much crap.
Right? It's so useful. Although it's not cheap. But
no.
My phone is dying, so I gotta plug it in. Hold on.
100 gold worth of diamond dust.
Every time you use it.
And yeah.
I hope y'all appreciate that yesterday I used 200 gold on you and then we didn't even go get my special item.
They're getting there. They're getting there.
2-5.
You gotta sail through a freaking maelstrom to get there, okay?
I know. Why is mine the
and
hardest
deal with
to
the
get?
Kraken.
Oh, jeez.
Because I've learned a lot since we went to the other ones.
Wow.
As the DM.
That's fair, I guess.
And yours has always been at the bottom of the maelstrom. It's just...
Yeah.
You guys didn't go there, so...
Well, it was lower priority.
Because you didn't fight for it.
Well, that's true.
And then you guys were in the Feywild, so...
Yeah. Okay. Greater Restoration. You imbue a creature
spell,
you touch...
obviously.
Yeah. With positive energy to undo a debilitating effect. You can You can reduce exhaustion by 1 level or end one of the following effects on a target. 1 effect that charmed or petrified the target. 1 curse, including the target's attunement to a cursed magic item.
Yeah, which is what I was going to use it for on Dez. Because the crown is stuck to his head.
I think that's what they used for the bad sword on...
For Grog, yeah. And then it tried to rip his soul out of his body.
Yeah, you know. Any reduction to one of the target's ability scores, or 1 effect reducing the target's hit point maximum. All things you do want to take care of as quickly as possible.
Exactly. Y'all are lucky because I let you get away with reducing exhaustion with lesser.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the one thing I do.
Yeah. Which I appreciate. Because lesser restoration don't cost no money.
Exactly.
It is expensive to be a cleric. And sometimes that annoys me. Because like, my cleric is a cleric of the woods. I live in the woods.
Exactly. Okay, so the next spell, I sort of know the wording of this spell, but like this spell came up in Mistwalkers on Monday because it was because we had to sleep in Ravenloft Castle. We had to sleep while we were there, which is a dangerous pastime for anybody who knows anything about Ravenloft.
True.
But we didn't have a choice. We had been fighting undead. We were exhausted. Nobody had spell slots left. And this was brought up as like an option to keep us safe. But I didn't have it prepared because this is one of those things that when you cast it, it's only in one spot. So I'm like, why would I use this if we're going to be fighting a bunch of undead that move?
Yeah. True.
But it takes 24 hours to cast the damn thing.
Yeah, it takes 24 hours.
This is what you did in the house, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I did in the house in Fixies 5. Yes.
Yes.
And
it's 1,000 gold worth of shit. And I don't think Eli has that anymore.
It's very expensive, and but it does cover a large area.
Yes. 60-foot radius, which is pretty good. Like you can cover a good portion of a house with that.
Yep. Yeah. And so
the area can have a radius up to 60 feet in the so it fails if it's already like you can't put hallows inside of a hallow.
You can't stack them, right? Yeah. So,
Um,
celestials, elemental, fae, fiends, and undead can't enter the area, nor can such creatures charm, frighten, or possess anyone within it. Any
yes.
creature charmed, frightened, or possessed by such a creature is no longer charmed, frightened, or possessed upon entering the area.
You can exclude one or more of those types of creatures from this effect if you choose. I don't think you excluded any of them, right? Like you just made it so that nobody could get in.
Blanket, yep. Because like if you know that like your god has celestials that they could send to help you, you would want to let them in. But
or like, you know, you have an archfey that visits on the regular,
right? Which I guess if I knew that, I would probably. But I don't know.
But also,
there's
it
too
leaves
many
it
tricky
open.
fae. There's too many tricky fae to not.
It leaves it open for other faes to get in there.
Right.
And then secondly, you bind an area, an extra effect to the area. You can choose from the following list, or choose an effect offered by the GM. So you can do courage, which nobody can be frightened. Darkness, so darkness, it makes it dark, and like as well as magical light is a level lower than normal light, as well as magical light created by spells of a lower level than the slot you use to cast the spell can't illuminate the area. Daylight, which is the opposite. Energy light. Protection, all creatures in the area have resistance to one type of damage of your choice except for bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing, which makes sense. Energy vulnerability, so creatures that are in the area have vulnerability to one type of damage of your choice. Everlasting rest. Dead bodies interred in the area can't be turned into... Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Extra dimensional interference. Affected creatures can't move or travel using teleportation or by extra dimensional or interplanar means. Okay, that's very situational, but cool. Fear. Wait.
Affected
Why is it in there twice? Frightened in the area.
There's courage where you can make it so that
cannot be frightened, and then there's ones where,
and then there's fear where you can make it so that enemies are frightened. Basically.
Yes. Silence, so no sound in the area, and tongues. Affected creatures can communicate with any other creature in the area, even if they don't share a common language.
I think I did courage. I believe.
Yes, you did the one where you can't be frightened.
I didn't want to do darkness or daylight because there were gods in our sanctuary that cover both realms. So
yeah, you've got the Everlight, which is like daylight, and then you've got Aurora Boreas, which is nighttime, and Starlight.
So I didn't want to like mess with that in any way.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really have any particular resistance thing. I think like because I cast this spell with my Tempest Cleric and I made people resistant to lightning damage.
Okay.
Because it was on a coastline also. Outside.
Okay.
So
nice. Yeah. I mean, this is a good spell. I like it. Yeah. It's good for like roleplay options, obviously, like what you did in the house. Like that was great.
Good for downtime activities.
Yep.
You gotta have the time.
It's great to protect your house, like because you guys have a house that you can like operate out of, and it's great to sort of help protect that.
Right.
I think if Mistwalkers ever finds a place to settle into and operate out of, Keli would use that spell there.
Yeah.
But the problem is we have to find that place.
Well,
84 episodes in, we still haven't found a place to operate out of.
It's also helpful for later spells, which we'll probably talk about next time, which is freaking what is that spell?
I don't know.
Word of Recall.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
To be able to cast that spell, you have to have a space that is dedicated to your god.
Yep. So you can use that.
That's what this is. We can get home anytime.
You have Word of Recall from the book.
Yes,
right?
But clerics also get it.
Yes.
It's a 6th level spell.
Yeah.
Also, I never got to cast it on our house before we left. So
oh yeah, that's right, because you guys didn't go. That's right. Oops. Oh well. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure your house is still intact. It's fine.
Well,
to be fair, nothing that's in the city right now can get in there, so...
Yeah, the hallowed part's probably fine.
Get back and it's just a bubble around that.
It's just like a sphere-shaped house. Remnants of a house.
Yep.
Hold Monster is next. It's like Hold Person, but covers more than just humanoids.
Yes. It's, you know...
It's nice.
It's one of those ones that, like, if it works, it's great. The problem is they have to...
It has to work.
They have to succeed on a wisdom saving throw or they're paralyzed. And the problem is a lot of times, at this point in the game,
they're strong
where you're getting these level spells, they're strong enough to get around it. Or they have advantage on it. Or any number of things. Yeah. Like, if you can figure out a way to cause disadvantage on somebody for wisdom saves and then cast this spell, that would be helpful. But...
a combo sorcerer cleric.
Yes.
And actually, if you took meta magic adept...
I mean, isn't...
even as a cleric. You could take heightened.
Oh, wait, no, that's a warlock. Never mind.
To give disadvantage.
Wait, Divine Soul is a warlock, yeah?
Divine Soul is a sorcerer.
Divine Soul... sorcerer, okay. Yeah. So, and they're basically like cleric sorcerers.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, the nice thing about it is cool. Paralysis, which means if you hit, because you get advantage to try to hit, you automatically crit. And that's great.
Yes. Next up, we got Insect Plague. This spell is amazing. You know, there's a 300-foot range.
Yeah.
The 300-foot range. And I love it. Yes. And it's great. Like, it's just great. It's got a 20-foot radius and a point that you choose within 300 freaking feet of you.
Yeah. And
there's just a bunch of swarming, biting locusts, but, like, we would have to reflavor it in our games. But, like, it's just bugs.
Yeah.
And, the sphere is difficult terrain, and when the area appears, each creature in it must make a Constitution saving throw. So, like, if you got a bunch of bad guys all sort of clumped up like a JV soccer team, you just drop this in the middle, and you just drop this spell in the middle of them, and just...
Or...
It's true. I'm not wrong.
Yeah. No, you're not. Or a good way to weaken someone that you know, like, send them through a fatal funnel kind of a thing.
Yep.
Inflict a bunch of damage before you actually have to fight them. Also nice.
Yep. Because it does... So, like, they have to make a Constitution saving throw, and they take 4d10 piercing on a failed or half as much on a success. And then the creature also must make a saving throw when it enters for the first time, or if it ends its turn there.
Yeah.
And you can increase the damage by 1d10 for every level you upcast it, which is great. Like, it's a good spell, and it lasts for 10 minutes, which is a really long time.
Yep.
And I want to use this spell as Keelai so bad because I know she's got it, but like we have to be careful about how we flavor it because of the bugs. But still, like you could say any number of things. Like if you need to get around that,
change the bugs,
like you could reflavor it however you want.
Yeah.
So
it does piercing damage, but you could even change the kind of damage, like have it do bludgeoning damage instead of
piercing. Yeah. So it's a good spell. It's a good spell. It's concentration. I like it. I approve of it.
Next is good old legend lore.
I've never seen this spell used once. I
really
like it. Yeah, I've only ever seen it used once, and it's cool. Like it's a great spell, but it's also very situational. You have to know that the item that you're looking at is very powerful.
Yeah. Well,
so like you guys could use this spell on your items that you have from the gods.
Right. Well, and we could use it about people too.
Yes.
Or I guess a place.
But it's very much a role play spell, and I like that. Yeah. Like I mean, we all know that I'm huge into that. So like, and also I'm a lore whore. I love lore. Like
me too.
It's just
I always want to use this spell. Always.
I feel like Granny needs to find a way to use this spell. Maybe before you guys go fight Rirka, like...
I don't remember if
just
I
use
have
this
the
spell.
components yet or not.
And it's 250 gold worth of incense and ivory strips. I mean,
I believe
because you're in a
I
port
have
city,
the
you could find all this
incense.
crap.
Well, yeah, I have the incense. I do not have the ivory strips. The incense is consumed, the ivory strips are not. That's a confusing thing about this spell.
Yes, and there's another spell that uses ivory strips too, and is that commune? There's another spell that uses... There's another spell at this level that uses this too, because I remember I was looking at this spell and I'm like, oh good, I need ivory strips because I'm going to need it for more than one spell.
Right.
So...
but it is very cool to... It's a good opportunity to give your DM to lore dump something on you.
Yes. Yep. It's great.
Especially because it does say that it's a brief summary of the significant lore. So it takes like 10 minutes. You get like 10 minutes of information. It might even
lore
be
dump.
secret stuff that no one else knows.
No one knows, yep.
But it does have to be... It does say if the thing is not of legendary importance, you gain no information. So it has to be something that is like... epic level item, or like a god or demigod. Like I wonder how this would work. I mean, Thera's Dune we already kind of know about, but like I'm thinking about like Vecna is supposed to be the god of secrets.
Yes.
But if you got even just a whiff of who he is and use that to cast this spell, you could get some real actual information about
or like
an enemy.
If you because really, so like if you use this spell on like the Raven Queen, you could get some really interesting information about that.
Yeah.
About how she became an Ascended and all that sort of stuff. And like I love these things because it just allows me to fall down a rabbit hole as a DM because I love that crap. And like, if you guys were to ever use this spell on the divine relics that you have, like you would also get
more information
on them about how they're made and things like that. And like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Just need like 1,250 gold worth of incense.
Exactly. Which is a lot of incense.
To cover all of the items that we're going to have.
Exactly. It's fine. It's nothing. What are you doing, you silly kitten?
Mass Cure Wounds is next. It's pretty simple. You pick a spot to dump a 30-foot radius of healing. And anyone in that 30-foot radius gets 3d8 plus your spellcasting modifier of healing.
Mm-hmm.
It's
my
an excellent high-level
bard
spell.
Just got this spell when we leveled up. Smudge has this spell, which I have a feeling I'm gonna need it tomorrow.
Yep.
Like, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna get eaten or something.
Mislead is next. I am not super familiar with this spell. It lasts
for an invisible.
Hour.
Wow, you become invisible. Okay. At the same time, an illusionary. Oh, so this would be like good for if you were trying to escape somewhere.
Yeah. Or follow someone.
You can see through its eyes and ears. While you're using it. So it's like the familiar, like the thing you can do with your familiar, but better.
It's like, it would be really good if you were like, what are the police officers that are embedded in a criminal organization called? If you were undercover, it'd be really
plant.
Good. Yeah.
An undercover plant, yeah.
Because then if you knew you were going to be going into a dangerous situation, you could cast this spell. You look like you're there. And then if they try to kill you,
you're not actually there.
Nothing happens.
Yes.
It's also a good way to be two
so
places
like
at once.
Exactly. Good spell. I like it. It's concentration, obviously, and it lasts for an hour. So,
speaking of
modify memory.
I've never.
Everybody loves this spell. This is a bard spell and a wizard spell because,
and trickery
like,
domain
I think
clerics.
Scanlan used this.
Yep.
And yeah, you just reshape somebody's memory. It's great. It's got a 30-foot range, lasts for a minute. You charm a target. They're incapacitated and unaware of its surroundings. The lilies can still hear you. You can, while this charm effect lasts, you can change a memory that's within the last 24 hours that lasted no more than 10 minutes.
Nice.
You eliminate all memory of the event and allow the target to recall the event with perfect clarity and exacting detail, change its memory of the detail event, or create a memory of some other event. So, like, it's pretty cool. It can be kind of situational.
Yeah.
I think, but it's pretty cool. It's a good spell.
Since
and remove curse or greater restoration gets rid of it.
You also have to speak to the target to describe how their memories are affected, which always kind of makes me think of, like, you know in Men in Black when they do the flashy thing and then they tell the person what they like actually remember? It's like that.
Yes. It's a little pew. Modify memory doesn't necessarily affect how a creature behaves particularly. Okay.
Yeah, so if it goes against someone's nature, it wouldn't necessarily feel logical.
Yeah, exactly. And you can, if you upcast it, you can increase the duration or the time.
Yeah,
like the length of time ago. 9th level is any time in the creature's past. Like, you could really mess with people's memories. So pass well. We were talking about this last night too, I think. This one, it basically creates a magical door.
I've never seen this one. I've never seen it used or anything.
Casting time is an action, lasts for an hour. 5 feet wide, 8 feet tall, 20 feet deep. So basically, if you're standing at like a castle wall, you can use this spell to like get through the wall. It's literally just a magical door. Like, creates an opening and a passage. So, like, it's,
Yeah.
Wizard, Moon Domain, Circle of the Land, and Armor. Okay, fun.
Planar Binding. Oh, this is... Okay, so this goes with Magic Circle, which is a 3rd level spell. Basically, it's a way to trap a magical creature. So, like, the fiend that was trapped in the Happy Fun Ball.
Yes.
Was trapped this way. You attempt to bind a celestial, elemental, fae, or fiend to your service. The creature must be within range for the entire casting of the spell, which is 1 hour. Typically, the creature is first summoned into the center of an inverted magic circle in order to keep it trapped while the spell is cast. At the completion of the casting, the target must make a charisma saving throw. On a failed save, it is bound to serve you for the duration, which is 24 hours. If the creature was summoned by or created by another spell, that spell's duration is extended to match the duration of this spell. Interesting. A bound creature must follow your instructions to the best of its ability. You might command the creature to accompany you on an adventure. Okay, so it'd be like an extra ally. Or to guard a location, or deliver a message. The creature obeys the letter of your instructions, but if the creature is hostile to you, it strives to twist your words to achieve its own objectives. If the creature carries out your instructions completely before the spell ends, it travels to you to report this fact if you are on the same plane of existence. If you are on a different plane of existence, it returns to the place where you bound it and remains there until the spell ends. Interesting.
And you can upcast it to increase the duration. So
cool. A ninth level good sort of like lasts a year and a day.
Yep.
It also costs 1,000 gold pieces to cast this spell.
Yeah, we're starting to get into
We're
the
getting
more
into
expensive
the money,
spells.
the money spells.
Next one, Ray's Dad. This one, so Kila has this spell, and when I got it, I got excited because I was like, oh, great. I can save Gabriella, but she's been dead longer than 10 days. And I'm like, dang it. So I couldn't, and I was sad about it.
I also think, oh, this one's not that bad, but oh well, yeah. It also says
they come back exhausted, don't they? Yeah.
Neutralizes any poisons and cures non-magical disease. It doesn't remove magical diseases, curses, or similar effects.
Yeah.
The spell can't return an undead creature to life. So it's already too late for her. Aw.
Oh, okay.
Unless you, I guess, killed her again and then
brought her back, yeah.
But
I
now,
guess.
is it at this point it would have to be what?
Now it has to be the whatever the big one is.
Yeah.
Is it
or if you have a druid that has reincarnate, maybe? But how long that
yeah, you could, but
that
like
much time either.
Yeah. Well, reincarnate is 5th level.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Two down. We'll get to it in a second.
But yeah, and so I would have to use, is it
Resurrection.
Resurrection is the one that I would need. And you don't get that till level 13.
Yeah. And then True Resurrection is the one that you can bring someone back even without their body, no matter how long they've been. Or it's like 100 years or something. Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, it works for like short-term stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit stronger than Revivify, obviously.
Yeah. More expensive diamond, 500 gold pieces. And it says
I think this
diamond.
is what they used on Percy.
Yeah.
I think this is what they used on Percy.
They used this on Scanlan the second time he died.
But I think they used this on Percy too when they brought him back, didn't they? Because he came back exhausted.
I think so.
When Ripley killed him.
Oh, yes, when Ripley killed him, yeah. Scanlan, when he died from the dragon.
A Kraken thing.
No, the green dragon.
Green dragon, yeah.
Ryshan, there we go. Yeah, because they tried to revivify him and it didn't work.
Yeah, because the timeline was too long.
So yeah, then they had to wait.
So this next one, is this the one that Karani's got?
Yeah. It's a ritual spell, which is nice. Yeah, you forge a telepathic... Oh, it's called Rary's Telepathic Bond, or just Telepathic Bond, I think.
Telepathic Bond, yeah.
You forge a telepathic link among up to 8 willing creatures of your choice within range, psychically linking each creature to all the others for the duration. Creatures with intelligence scores of 2 or less aren't affected by the spell. Until the spell ends, the targets can communicate telepathically through the bond, whether or not they have a common language. Communication is possible over any distance, though it can't extend to other planes of existence.
Unless you're Ram and you don't know how to use it in your head.
Right.
And you just say everything out loud.
Respond out loud.
They do, but I think they don't use it because that's how Warforged, in my world, that's how they communicate when they're together. They communicate in their heads.
Too much like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think it's too close to home for them. So, but you guys have never talked about it.
No.
So maybe on the boat.
Yeah.
Let's be like, Ram, you're gonna get somebody killed. What the fuck? All right, so Reincarnate is up next. Is this the one that they used on Veth?
No.
Or was that just Resurrection?
I believe what they did was create their own spell for Veth.
Okay.
But it had some similar whatever
effects, yeah.
You this one you also don't have to have an entire body, you just have to have part of the body.
Piece of it, yeah.
You touch a dead
And basically, you come back and it just like you roll on a table,
and you get to see what race you are.
Yep.
Which I've seen people use, like, because, like, this just has the options from the player's handbook. Mm-hmm. But there's so many more now.
Yeah, there are lots more now.
They use this in this first campaign of NADPOD.
Okay.
And, basically, one of them became a vampire. They had to kill him and then bring him back. And, and they used, because their only healer, well, they had a paladin and a druid, and she had reincarnate. So I believe they did like a modified table for him because he didn't want to be anyone short. Because he's a tall guy in real life.
Okay.
But yeah. I think he ended up being he went from human to half elf.
Okay. Yeah, so like basically it gives you all of the race options that are in the player's handbook, so like dragonborn, dwarf, elf, gnome.
They did make it so that he could still grow a beard. Funny. It does give them like a whole new body. The magic fashions a new body for the creature to inhabit, which likely causes the creature's race to change. What I find interesting about how they did it in NADPOD was they basically made it, do you want to take the body of an old hero that died long ago?
Yeah.
And so they use like lost bodies of heroes. It's very interesting.
It says it retains the capabilities it had in its original form, except it exchanges the original race for the new one. It changes its racial traits accordingly. And this one you need spell components up to 1,000 gold. Yeah. So it's another expensive one. Worth it, but expensive.
Because it says it changes your stats, like your bonuses, but nowadays with Tasha's it doesn't matter as much.
Yeah.
So it's just an aesthetic thing, basically.
Yes, basically.
Next
up is scrying. I love this spell. This is a good spell. It's a very handy utility spell.
Yeah. Also expensive. You need a focus worth at least 1,000 gold pieces, such as a crystal ball, silver mirror, or a font filled with holy water.
I got to use my sword.
Nice.
Because I used when Keela used this spell, I asked Aphium, like, because my sword is from Mount Celestia and it's a +1 magical weapon. Would that count? And she's like, yeah. So I got to use that as my scrying surface.
That's awesome. I don't know.
So she scryed in the blade of her sword.
I used it when we were in Veltodir, but I think I borrowed someone's necklace or something. Didn't I?
No, they gave you like an ornament or something that you could use.
Yeah, but I borrowed.
Yeah.
It. I don't still have it, I don't think.
It basically just lets you like spy on somebody. They have to make a wisdom saving throw.
Which is modified
and then
by how well
they
you know them.
Yeah. And you can't use it for 24 hours after you do it if it fails. It's a 10-foot radius around the creature that you're trying to see. And do they know when this happens? There's a way. I think you can roll to see if they know. Yeah, so if a target knows you're casting the spell, it can fail the saving throw voluntarily. So like that's what happened with Gordon. Because Gordon is locked in a dungeon somewhere and Athelstan scryed on them and they voluntarily failed their save so that we could see them.
Gotcha. And
figure out where the heck they are. And that's how we found out they're in the basement of Castle Ravenloft being held by the Brides of Strahd. And that's where we have to go. And I'm just like, lovely. Just what I want to do is go crawl around in the basement of Castle Ravenloft. He got possessed or something by one of the Brides of Strahd. And
Lord.
Like, I was just like, great. So now we gotta go get him back.
Good luck, y'all.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to Monday.
Seeming is our next spell. They've used this before. Scanlan used this before. It allows you to change the appearance of any number of creatures you can see within range. You give each target you choose a new illusory appearance. An unwilling target can make a charisma saving throw, and if they succeed, they are unaffected by the spell. Disguises.
Yeah, so it's basically like disguise self, but like you can use it on a bunch of people.
So anyone within 30 feet of you. This is
like you could really.
This is the spell they use to beat cows.
Yes.
In campaign 1.
I remember.
Good time.
They used it for something else in that campaign too, but yeah.
Yeah, they used it for multiple things. It's a handy spell for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bard, Sorcerer, Wizard, Archfey, and Genie. So yeah, it's, I mean, you know, few of them.
Handy.
Rangers.
Next one. Is it just
Swift
endless
Quiver.
ammunition? Swift Quiver.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, you just don't run out of arrows. And you can use a bonus action to make 2 attacks that uses that ammunition. So, like, you could shoot 2 times. Each time you make a ranged attack, your quiver magically replaces a piece of ammo with a similar piece of non-magical ammo. Any pieces created by this spell disintegrate when the spell ends. If the quiver leaves your possession, it also ends. So, you know, again, I feel like this is another situational spell. It's great that it's a bonus action and it's concentration up to a minute. But again, situational, and also rangers have better things to do with their spells.
Right.
Like, a lot better things
Especially
to do with their spells.
Level.
Yeah.
It's the highest level they have.
But, yeah.
Good times.
And what do we got? Telekinesis.
Yes.
60-foot range. 10 minutes. Casting times in action.
You can
this one
move
you
a
don't
creature.
see it as often.
No. I feel like sometimes it's like magic items that do this. That let you do this.
Yeah. And you can use it on a creature or an object. The object can weigh up to 1,000 pounds. You can try to move a creature huge or smaller. You make an ability check with your spellcasting ability, contested by the creature's strength. Unless they're unconscious, in which case you just pick them up. The creature is restrained in your telekinetic grip. And on subsequent rounds, you can use your action to attempt to maintain your grip.
I believe Caleb used this to throw Bo into a snowdrift. Once.
Yes. He fastballed specialed him into a snowdrift.
Yep.
It's
very handy to move large obstacles.
Yes. Telepathic bond we already talked about.
Yep. In case you don't have Bigby's hand.
Yeah, exactly. Go to the next screen. Thank you.
Teleportation circle. This requires rare chalks and inks infused with precious gems worth 50 gold pieces, which the spell consumes. So every time you cast this, guess what? 50 gold.
Mm-hmm. And it can take you... So, I think Tiberius used this, didn't he?
Yeah, and Caleb used it also.
And Caleb did? Okay, yeah. To get them, in and out of, Cobalt Soul and stuff like that.
Yeah. He learned a couple symbols. And he had the...
Yes.
He had the feat that lets him remember everything that he's seen within the last 30 days.
Yep.
So, as long as
he basically just memorized
he could go there. Yeah. 10-foot diameter circle that links you to a permanent teleportation circle of your choice, whose sigil sequence you know that is on the same plane of existence as you.
Okay.
Shimmering portal opens within the circle you drew and remains open until the end of your next turn. Any creature that enters the portal instantly appears within 5 feet of the destination circle or in the nearest unoccupied space if that space is occupied. Many major temples, guilds, and other important places have permanent teleportation circles inscribed somewhere within their confines. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. It kind of gives guidelines for the GM too. When you first gain the ability to cast the spell, you learn the sigil sequences for 2 destinations on the material plane determined by the GM. You can learn additional sigil sequences during your adventures. You can commit a new sigil sequence to memory after studying it for 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay.
And this is what you use to create a permanent teleportation circle by casting the spell in the same location every day for a year.
Every day for 1 year. Yep.
So 50 gold times 365 days.
Yeah. Like, and I think they had Laura do this in Castle Grayskull
well, they had a
1.
tree
I'm
for
almost
Keyleth.
positive. Yeah, but I think they had her create a circle too.
She eventually made a circle in Whitestone, I believe.
Okay.
But I don't know where. I don't know if they ever said where.
18,250 gold.
Good grief.
So yeah, that's
very affordable. Very affordable spell.
Next
interesting.
Up, Tree Stride.
You need not use the circle to teleport when you cast the spell in this way. See, if I was a DM, this is what I would be inclined to do. If you're going to spend the time and the spell slots to do this, and you're trying to create a permanent circle, I would not make it cost you 18,000 gold.
Yeah.
I do maybe like 50 gold every month to reinforce it.
Yeah.
That's just me. But I also think spells in D&D are too expensive, except for, like, obviously the resurrection ones should be, but
yeah,
come on, it's magic. Why you gotta cost 5,000 gold or whatever? Never mind. I will get off that soapbox for now. Tree Stride!
Yeah, so it's an action. You cast it on yourself and it lasts for a minute. You enter a tree and move inside it to another tree within 500 feet. So it's like Dimension Door, but through trees.
Through trees.
Like,
it's Druid Dimension Door. I recall Keyleth only using this once. Mm-hmm. And it was when they were in frickin' whatchamahoosit, the Feywild, fighting the guy with the bow.
Yes.
And she had her flame hands and would basically, like, pop through a tree and then catch it on fire.
Yep.
Pretty great.
What the heck was that guy's name? It was something. Sondor.
Sondor.
Yeah.
Pretty good for... It is nice, though, because this is not just a one-time thing like Dimension Door. This is, as long as you got a bunch of trees around, you can pop in and out.
For a whole minute, you can just, like you're all over the place.
Ping-pong yourself around
This is great for if you're in a forest.
Yeah. Very situational.
You can just be like, pew, pew, pew.
Right? Oh, Wall of Force. Good times. Wall of Force.
Yep. And to our last 2 here. So Wall of Force.
Yes. This last 10 minutes.
120 feet. Wow. Range on that. A lot of the ranges really went up.
Yeah. Yeah, once you get to level 5, there seems to be much further distance that you can do with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Wall of Force. So they used this in EXU, I believe.
Oh.
When Sam's character was at the, like, news station, I'm pretty sure this is the spell he used.
I think you're right.
Because that one guy was like, we got to do the thing, and then he's like, nah.
Raishan also used it when she escaped when they defeated Thordak.
So you can form it into a hemispherical dome or a sphere with a radius up to 10 feet. Or you can shape a flat surface made up of 10 foot by 10 foot panels. Each panel must be continuous with another. So like that basically just have to be like next to each other.
Yep.
If the wall cuts through a creature's space when it appears the creature is pushed to one side or the other. Nothing can physically pass through the wall. It is immune to all damage and can't be dispelled by dispel magic. A disintegrate spell destroys the wall instantly, however. The wall also extends into the ethereal plane. So, like, dang. That's cool.
That is cool. I didn't know the ethereal plane part. That's great.
You're just, like, tooling along in the ethereal plane, and suddenly there's a wall, and you're just like, bruh.
And our last one is Wall of Stone. Also lasts 10 minutes. Not as powerful as, say, Wall of Force, but you can make basically a solid stone wall. The wall is 6 inches thick and composed of 10 10-foot by 10-foot panels. Each panel must be contiguous with the next, just like the other. Alternatively, you can create 10-foot by 20-foot panels that are only 3 inches thick. Interesting. If the wall cuts through a creature's space when it appears, the creature is pushed to one side or the other. If they would be surrounded on all sides by the wall, that creature can make a dexterity saving throw. On a success, they can use its reaction to move up to its speed so they are no longer enclosed by the wall. The wall can have any shape you desire, though it can't occupy the same space as a creature or object. It does not need to be vertical or rest on any firm foundation. It must, however, merge with and be solidly supported by existing stone. Interesting. You can use this spell to bridge a chasm or create a ramp. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
No, me either. That's cool.
That is cool. If you create a span greater than 20 feet in length, you must have the size of each panel to create supports. You can crudely shape the wall to create crenellations, battlements, and so on. The wall is an object made of stone that can be damaged and thus breached. Each panel has an AC of 15, 30 hit points per inch of thickness. Ooh. So 3 inches would be 90 hit points.
Yeah,
that's no small thing. Reducing a panel to 0 hit points destroys it and might cause connected panels to collapse at the GM's discretion. If you maintain your concentration for the whole duration, the wall becomes permanent and can't be dispelled. Otherwise, the wall disappears when the spell ends. And that is the last 5th level spell.
Nice.
Not
getting there. We're getting there. We've got 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th to get through, and then we're through all of the spells. And they're going to just be expensive from here on out.
I know. Lots of expensive, lots of complicated spells.
Yes.
6th level, there's only 2 pages, but I think it will take just as long to get through. Because we got complicated spells. Just looking at this list, it's like complicated spells. Yeah. Oh, I can already see one that I don't like on here. But there's some really good ones on here too.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. I have the thing up so I can try to get us to raid.
Ooh, okay.
It looks like Lost Caravan is here, so we're gonna try to go and raid them.
Awesome. Well then stick around for the raid. You get lots of points when you stick around for the raid. And we'll see you in 2 weeks to talk about level 6 spells, y'all.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Gonna do the thing. Oh, it worked. Yeah. It worked this time. So get us out of here.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
We'll see you later.
Oh, wait. Hang on. I gotta do this.
You gotta hit the button.
I gotta hit the button.